Welcome to Land Academy. This is the Cash Flow from Land show. We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth
and sell it on the internet really fast.
I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWitt. We are Jack and Jill, and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWitt.
Hi.
Welcome to our show. In this episode, Jill and I talk about who needs corporate culture. Well, everybody needs it, even if you're a one-person show. Great show today, Jill. Let's take before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on successplant.com, our free online community.
Okay. Eric wrote and asked, "Hello, I came across some subdivision land. Are they any good to invest in? I know the property taxes are higher and also there's an HOA. Most of the lots are less than 0.25 acres, less than a quarter of an acre. I guess the real question is if it's good for flipping. My short-term goal is to build up more investment capital. Thanks in advance, Eric."
Awesome question, Eric. Get it all the time. And heck yes, they're great for flipping. These kinds of deals are awesome. They're fantastic for people who are super ambitious but don't have a ton of access to capital. And a lot of our members are like that. You know, when you hear people starting out with not a lot of money, quite frankly, you can buy these properties, these rural properties for less than $500 and sell them for $1,000 all day long, which is a great way to build up a good bank balance so that you can do some serious acquisitions like 40, 20 acre properties. You hear us talk about vacation lots east of the Mississippi all the time. You buy them for $1,000, you sell them on terms, or you sell them for cash for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. So if you don't have that kind of money to start out with, these little tiny properties are great. Jill and I have done thousands and thousands and thousands of deals of these tiny little lots, and people love them. You know, it's real easy for people to come up with $800 or $900 or $1,000 to buy one of these little properties and get into the real estate business. You know, our customers, and we buy them in bulk for $100, as little as $25. You know, but we typically buy them for $500 and sell them for $1,000 or $1,500, and people are their owners now. So the answer is yes. Hey, just to apply the 4A rule to these properties as well as any other acquisition you do. What are the 4As? Does it have a good attribute? Is it close to something? Mountain views? Does it have
golf
lakes?
Course?
Is it in a city? Is it close to a city? Golf course is good. Acreage, the more the better. Does this have that attribute? That A of the 4As? No, not really. But that's okay. It's not valueless. I've heard people say that these properties are worth nothing. That bugs me. All properties are worth something.
Exactly. I agree.
Make sure you turn your cell phone off during the podcast. That's the next question.
It's a repeat from the last show.
The last two questions are, last two A's are affordable. So it sounds like you got that worked out. The cheaper, the better. And the fourth A is access. And these subdivision lots, way more often than not, you cannot create a subdivision unless it's got access to all the properties. So more often than not, but make sure you check. Some properties, some subdivisions are called paper subdivisions. They just exist on paper. They were created in the 50s before a lot of the rules that we have in place were in place. So, but heck, it's still, they're good. It's a good deal most of the time. Go ahead, Joe.
A couple good things to point out too is, one, when there is an HOA, I like that. Somebody's doing something. There's something out there. Someone's keeping an eye on the property. Things are being maintained. I like that there's an HOA. And number two, you get several of these, keep buy and sell, and it's nice because you'll get into a routine and everybody, and it's going to be an easy transaction for you. If you do, 20 of these in this next year, you're going to know everybody, how they like it done and what the recording fees and what needs to be done off the top of your head. So it's really, really easy to flip them and
knock yourself out, man.
Totally. And these are great to, every property we want you to get into a system and advertise it everywhere, but gosh, these little ones they often can get a lot of attention because they're priced so low. Like Jack said, we'll buy them for under $100 and sell them for under $1,000. So you're going to get a lot of people viewing your properties. So make sure too that your posting is really clear. Put everything you know about it in there, including the HOA and everything that you know. Save yourself some phone calls and questions, and make sure your posting is really, really good.
Yep.
Too. So thank you.
Today's topic: who needs corporate culture anyway? Well, everybody does, even if you're a one-person operation. This is the meat of the show. This has come up recently in our company, specifically in Land Academy. Not so much Land Stay, because that's been around for a while, and it's been established in a machine-like manner. Corporate culture is so important. What do you want your company to be like? You want everybody to horse around all day? Or do you want everybody to be like Gestapo serious? Or everything in between? How do you, what do you do? Are you horsing around most of the time? Or are you pretty serious for 2 hours and then you go take a walk? What's the deal? Do you play foosball in the middle of the day? These are all good questions. Here's what I want to, here's the takeaway from this whole show. Whatever it is, and nobody's judging you. Some people have all different crazy times of work habits. We have a member who works only in the middle of the night. Luke does. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, make sure it's with intent. Don't just say, oh, this is who I am, and this is what I like the most. I love to sleep while I work, and have it be acceptable. Mm-hmm. This is more complicated than it sounds. You need to really establish, and if you do have people working for you, they're going to learn from you. They're going to come in with their own idea about how they want things. Maybe it's a heater under their desk, and maybe it's messing with everybody else's world in the whole office. You got to get control of that as a leader, and he starts by leading with the corporate culture that you want. Is what you need to, from the top down, lead by example and show everybody this is how it's going to go.
And no matter how big your company is, it's important. I mean, you could be a staff of 5 or a staff of 50. And the sooner you set that culture and even write it down, we have a version of that we actually have kind of an new employee manual that our senior manager put together a while back. And
we have an employee manual. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
You forgot about that?
Yeah, it's like a book.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
She did that. We didn't even ask her to do it.
Mm-hmm. She came,
as
we were growing.
We have some really good people working for us.
Well, part of it was to save her some time, too. She saw a need, and as new employees come in, they would first report to her, get through a lot of the admin, business part of things, and then get set up, and then they would be transitioned to, their role or whoever they're going to report to and all that good stuff. So she created that. And one of the things that's in there is kind of our corporate culture, how we roll, what we expect, and including things like honesty and not opening a Coke can in a meeting. Things like that.
Turn your cell phone off during the podcast.
Jack, what's going on here today? Jack's got his phone ringing. He's got to open his Coke right now. Do you want to he's going to, there's going to be a big belch coming in a minute.
No.
All right.
Really want me to answer that? What's going on?
Okay.
I'm happy as hell, man.
Oh, okay.
We got this whole California thing figured out.
All right.
Our sales rock.
Jack has clearly embraced the California mentality of whatever.
No, actually, that's really not true.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that, what my corporate culture is in a minute, and talk about Jill's.
Oh, okay. I like that. So anyway, it's, no matter what size your staff is, and writing it down and having it in a manual and things that someone can refer to is also helpful. So thank you, Jack.
Well said. What's your corporate culture like, Jill? What's your natural state where you're happy? How do you work best, most efficient, let's say? Let's say everybody has the same goal of efficiency, productivity, and making a lot of money and doing the least amount of work. Let's say that's everyone's goal and we all have that in common. Or is that even your goal?
Well, okay, wait a minute. No, I don't think the least amount of work is a culture for me. My goal is happy, relaxed, open, yet respectful environment where everyone is working aggressively toward the same goals. Does that clarify? You want more?
Yeah, I do in a second though, but let me clarify this. When I say work the least amount, what I mean is work incredibly efficiently 8 to 10 hours a day. Because when everything's really efficient, then it just gives you more time. I don't mean cut out at 2 o'clock every day and go surfing. I mean, if your stuff's done at 2, great. Now you got 3 or 4 more hours to work on the new stuff, like new business models or whatever else. So I don't mean I just mean efficient. Let's just say our whole goal, and I'll leave it right there, is to be maximally efficient.
Got it. Exactly. I also want an environment where people can feel free to come up with ideas of things that they see that need to be done better and more efficient. That's a huge thing for me. I don't want anyone that can't say, hey, I've been here 6 months and I got to tell you guys, I tried this, and this, and at my last company, we did it this way, and I really think this would work better. I love that stuff.
Oh, me too.
So I want to make sure, and it's funny because some environments are not that way. I've worked in those places that it doesn't really matter how great your idea is. They really don't want it.
Most places are like that.
So I think that's also important. And I want to inspire people. I want people to, I love when employees create their own jobs and they come up with new, for example, our senior manager who came up with the whole, we need to have a formal, employee manual. And it was awesome. And it was actually kind of creative on her part, for parts of it. And I think she enjoyed it. And that was really good.
She said, here's the manual you never asked for and didn't know that I was working on, and I'd like a raise because of it, which she promptly got.
It's like 25 or 30 pages.
She got a raise for that.
It's so great. And it's very thorough. And it's, it's not, you might laugh at this, but I think it's important. One thing, and it's because it's important to me, is dress code. I actually have a thing about that. And it's funny because when I first got my first office job, it was kind of a business casual. And then I got a job in downtown LA where we had to wear hose. I don't know if you knew this. It was only on weekends and then maybe Friday. There was like some days when people weren't around. But I mean, we're talking, if you're wearing a skirt, you're wearing hose, and I had that kind of, I used to think, oh, this is the silliest thing. I'm never going to do this. I think this is dumb. And then come full circle. Now I'm an owner and I have a dress code. And it's not hose, but
what is it?
Do people even know what that is?
What's our dress code?
Our dress code is a business casual. In our office, you and I can do other things. You can wear shorts, but our people can't wear shorts.
No, that's not right, is it?
Yes, it is. I firmly believe that there's a little something in your head when you show up physically prepared to meet people in person should you need to, and not in flip-flops and board shorts.
No, I mean, it's not right that I can do whatever I want and everybody else has to do whatever, follow some rules. Like, what if I smoke a cigar in the office?
You're an owner. You kind of can.
So you think that's okay? You approved it. I obviously never read this document. So you approved it. You really think that's okay?
Yeah.
Well, the owner can do whatever the hell he wants? Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to tell you no. Remember what happened?
Good answer.
Jeez.
Wow.
What would happen to me?
Could
you imagine? Let's back up. This is actually, you know what, Jack, I like where you're going with this. Jack, I would like to tell you, I need you to initial this here. This is your first written warning based on our employee manual because you are not meeting the dress code today. Could you imagine? That would be hilarious.
That's not going to go over well. You know what I would do? Give me that. Give me that dress code. You can wear shorts now. Yeah. No, you know what? This is a perfect example of exactly what this show's about. You need a corporate culture. And I'm not the person to do it. And, but I'm totally the person to lead by example, obviously, with the exception of this shorts thing. But I think there's a little psychological thing where
everything else you do.
The boss comes in and maybe he's out of compliance with what everybody else has to do because he's the owner and that he calls the shots. And I think there's something to that. I don't think that you can smoke a cigar in someone's face. That's ridiculous. But
right.
Changing a little bit of the dress code is not such a bad thing.
Mm-mm. No, because and like part of our corporate culture is everybody works really hard, and we mean everybody, and it's us included. Our staff sees us
Yeah, you're
up
right.
in there early. They leave and they see us still at our desks.
We work harder than anybody that works for us. I think.
They know we don't take days off.
Yeah.
They know. So that's a perfect example. And it's, and part of it is maybe that's part of our corporate culture, because here's my thoughts on this. I really do enjoy what I do. I enjoy talking to people, and I don't mind talking to someone on a Saturday if that's when they're available. I don't have to have Saturday off. My culture is this is a 7-day-a-week operation, period. And I know some of our staff will work on the weekends depending on projects and what's going on and all that.
If you have an internet company, you're open 24/7. Does that mean you stare at the screen for 24/7? No, but it needs to be managed that way. And a lot of times it involves weekend stuff. If people are buying unnecessary products, stuff that's not food or toiletries, like we sell, it's not necessary to buy the products we sell. They're buying it on the weekend. We have crazy Mondays. Our Mondays are nuts because there's stuff goes on the weekends that just hasn't, and it's fine. It's all, everybody knows that, and they come in Monday ready to work, but it's a 24/7 deal.
Exactly. Well, tell me more about your corporate culture.
Well, I wanted to break. That's great because my natural state, having an accounting background and type A personality, I'm very military Gestapo like. That's my natural. And if I operated this company or these companies that we have the way that I wanted to, just me with no checks and balances, no one would work here. It's I would be just with no patience. One strike, you're out. The whole thing. So it's important. That's actually going to lead to my technical 2 here. Keep yourself in check, In fact, I'm going to do it real quick, all right?
Okay.
This is the technical 2 minutes of property investment advice. I already just told you from 15 years.
Got it.
That's how I want to do the technical 2.
Okay, got it.
If I didn't keep myself in check, that's how I would do it.
Got it.
This is the technical 2 minutes of property investment advice from our 15-year, 15,000 transaction experience. Have some checks and balances in place about your corporate culture and everything for that matter. Don't let your regular old personality hang out all over the place for everybody to see. Have some professionalism and walk around like you own the place if you own it. Be a nice person. Jill's just like,
what the heck?
She's looking at me like I
threw up on my mouth a little bit there. What the heck? What the heck?
Dude, keep yourself in check. That's all I'm saying.
What?
When you go home at night and you're done working and you turn on a TV or whatever you do at night, that's you. All right, be you then. But have be your
ADD or whatever it is self then.
Right.
Save it for your home and your family. Do not bring that stuff to work.
We tell our kids this all the time. Don't be crazy in school like you are right here. Okay, Dad, I won't do that.
But then don't do it at the dinner table too. Oh, and then don't do it here. And
close your door in the room when you're doing that.
That's right. Please not in public.
So, to answer your question, I mixed it all up. The meat of the show and the technical 2 is all mixed up, but that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I keep myself in check all the time. If it was just up to me, or if it was just a one-person company, and it was for a really long time, man, it was just the timer. There were timers. I'm not joking. I used to have a timer on my desk. I did recently.
What was the timer for? I can be mad for 5 more minutes?
No, this is going to take, whatever I'm doing right now is going to take 18 minutes.
Oh.
The timer goes off, done. It's done. I don't care if it's not done or done, but it's getting published.
Well, if it's okay, I would like to take over because this is going to bleed into my part.
Yeah.
So
if you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816. We're all over the map today in this show. Jill, inspire us.
But it's flowing, and it's funny because we didn't plan this. So my inspiration ties into what you just said about your timer, which is good or bad, whatever you think it is. Embrace your uniqueness / however, not everyone's like that. And you got to embrace theirs too, And I know that about you, Jack, and I know that about your timer. And there are some times that I think it's appropriate, and I have done that a few times, but that's not usually how I roll. And I know it's funny because it's hard because sometimes I look at you and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. And then you could look at me and going, oh, I can't do that. And in no ways right or wrong, they're just different. Mm-hmm. That's how you get your tasks done or whatever, that's what helps you be the most productive or the most whatever.
So embrace what?
Embrace your uniqueness, good or bad. It doesn't matter. So,
I guess it's a roundabout way of saying, you should never ever cross the disrespect line for your employees or yourself even, or your partners or any of that. You shouldn't cross that. But and if your natural order of doing things, and quite frankly mine is, could cross that disrespect line often, you got to approach it another way, or nothing. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, for me, another way or another thought is, you can't try to impose your ways on. You can at some points, like, you're a business owner, you have a checklist. There's a certain way you need things done. Got it. That's okay. But you don't want to impose that your desk should look exactly like my desk.
Geez,
and you need to put your drink on the right side because I put mine.
Micromanaging.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
you're absolutely right.
It could go too far. So you don't want to impose that kind of stuff.
Right.
And you can't, you have to sit back and realize you are unique, and it's all good. And so is everybody else. And everybody brings something to the table.
I have run these companies under this philosophy since day one. Get your stuff done. And I don't care how you do it. I don't care what hours you work. I truly don't care. Just get your stuff done. And I will only ever have an issue when the stuff's not getting done properly. And truth be told, this show was inspired by the fact that there's some stuff that's not getting done in one of these companies right now. And I can personally, the people who are not getting it done they don't report to me. They report to other people, but I know what's going on for a lot of reasons. And if it were just me, the hatchet would come out. But that's not the right thing to do. And that's not the corporate culture I want.
Right.
I always want to be fair, and I want it to be funny and fun. I want to have fun at work,
Exactly.
But I don't want stuff to not get done, and that's kind of happening in one area. And I'll address it later.
Thank you.
And I will not bring the hatchet out.
Thank you.
Hey, join us in another episode, probably a more happy episode, and more about real estate, where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
and inspiration, that's me,
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. You got a little off topic there.
Boy, that was deep. That was kind of some deep stuff, don't you think?
Yeah, I just think, corporate cultures they have to come from the top down. And I think if everybody, I grew up, let me tell you a real quick story about Detroit. I grew up in Detroit and every single person I knew, including my parents, was connected somehow to the auto industry. And this is before, Toyota, right? So all cars back then were coming out of that city. And all I ever heard was people really out loud complaining about their job. How little, how to get out of work, how they hated the unions, hated working there. And I was a little kid, and I'm like, something's not right. Mm-hmm. What is wrong when, this is their living, this is what they spend all this time doing, this, and maybe that was the root of going off on my own. I don't know, who knows, but it has to be top-down corporate leadership and corporate culture. And that was long before the internet. Now, more than ever, you have the opportunity, even if your company's huge, and you're a leader or some level of leadership, to get on the internet and do training videos and give the support that people need and show them how to behave. So I don't have a lot of patience for especially in huge companies, people, really complaining. If you don't like your job, please go get a different one. I'm speaking on behalf of your employer.
Right.
If you don't like the work there, please go work somewhere else. It's just, it's like a disease. It just spreads. Wow, this show just gets worse and worse, doesn't it?
Let's call it.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property. That's what this is for.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We are the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. Let's go buy some property.
If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480-467-0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
landacademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.